The following changes have occurred over the past 24 hours. Fighting continues in the Kupyansk direction. In the city, activity is observed in the Jubilee neighborhood and nearby, as well as in its central part. On the territory of the first enemy, fighters are supposed to be in dedicated apartment buildings. According to the video, with the help of infantry, I tried to recapture this house the most. The movement of the Ukrainian tactical group was recorded there. There is a sign that part of the Jubilee belongs more to the grey zone. In the center of Kupyansk, operators monitor the movement of the enemy, where they are subsequently hit. In this event, 6 of the Ukrainian armed forces returned to the building from the north side. The operator controlled the situation. The shooting immediately shows the use of actividron, but in a different, more northern structure. At least one of the 2 temporary enemy locations has been destroyed. The presence of fallen snow is also noticeable in the video, which indicates a recent event. There is a third point in the same video. The Western military identified the enemy's hideout and partially destroyed it by the same means. Additionally, the line of collision is shifted, including the entire part of Moskovka. The SSU is trying to isolate the Russian military, which is located in the southwestern part of the city. In Kupyansk-Kuzlov, work continues on enemy logistics routes. In its central part, the SSU was traveling north by car. The previously damaged Ukrainian equipment is visible in the frame. The kamikaze squadron operator destroyed it. The opponents still use the road through the ferry near a small part of the urban-type settlement. Russian troops are eliminating the manpower and equipment of the armed forces of Ukraine as they approach the front line. In the Petra Pavlovsk area, operators are processing Ukrainian forces in the northern part of the settlement. The northernmost point is shown first. Geo-confirming material is applied for absolute reliability. The drone operator found one of the Ukrainian armed forces hiding in a small building. With the throws of the first grenade, the enemy was wounded. The second was his finishing. The second example involved a kamikaze drone. The enemy's temporary deployment point was hit closer to the center of Petra Pavlovsk. In the third action, an attack drone was also used. Earlier, on November 28th, a Russian unit on armored vehicles and motorcycles carried out an attack along the same road. Preparations are currently underway for the next assault operations to advance in Petropavlovsk. In the area of Sandy, activity also remains. On the territory of the Shevtsov Yar ravine, Russian operators are using lightning to process the positions of the Ukrainian forces. Some of the hits are shown. Also, this forested area helps the enemy to restrain the onslaught from the eastern side. For the first time this year, the presence of the Russian side was indicated in Kurilovka. In its eastern part, the enemy threw 2 grenades at the building. The October shooting with the Russian flag soldiers on the roof is more related to the artificially made one. Therefore, the first designation is in the eastern part. Before advancing, it is also worth considering one action, in which there is still a sign that the enemy is near the destroyed bridge. A Ukrainian infantryman was walking west. The Russian drone operator eliminated it. Taking into account 2 events, an approximate advance north of Sandy is added with the approach of Kurilovka. Additional information on this area is expected. High intensity of fighting remains in the Zaparitzia area. The motorized infantry of the 36th Brigade selflessly crossed the Gaichur River, where they further liberated Peshanoe. From Pokrovsky to Gulipole is the first point of the clockwork barrier, which came under the control of the Russian side. More than 2 platoons of enemy manpower were destroyed in the clashes for this village. Closer to Gulipole, the stage of knocking out the enemy from the remaining part of the eastern Gaichur River is coming to an end. Yesterday, the reconnaissance guards broke down the defense of the armed forces of Ukraine during offensive operations, where they eventually captured Varvarovka. At the southernmost point, the fighter with the lag calmly walked south and north. The military is pushing towards the neighboring Yelena Konstantinovka in order to advance in this area on the opposite side of the water barrier. This village is located in a lowland, immediately followed by an elevated territory. In the battle for Gulipole, The soldiers of the Fifth Army continue to march forward. The enemy has been knocked out of the entire elevated territory. In this example, before the further assault, the Hurricane's calculation used rockets to process enemy positions just to the west, and the pilots hit the APU with bombs in a building with an increased average number of floors. The Ukrainian side is putting up fierce resistance by constantly transferring reserves. Warriors and Far Easterners systematically push them through. The secondary supply route, Sviatopetrovka, Gulipole, has already been blocked. The enemy still has the main road through Zelensky. There are also field ones that are less important.